have a lot of special traditions in New Orleans, but one of the most unique is the second line. What separates the second line from any other parade is you get to participate. Up front, you have the parade group and the band. That's the first line. Back behind, that's where you come in. Friends, neighbors, anybody watching the parade can follow along. That's the second line. The only requirement is that you put a little strut in your step. Second line season runs almost year-round with neighborhood clubs like the Pigeon Town Steppers parading on weekends from August to June. You can also catch them at some of New Orleans' fabulous festivals like Jazz in the Park and Jazz Fest. Grab your umbrella and your dancing shoes and hop in line. I'm Fresh Johnson with another episode of Go Nolan TV.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? This is Sugar Ray. Happy Fat Tuesday to you. I'm here. I'm live. I'm well. I know most of you guys are freezing your tuchuses off. I'm here in Arizona. It's a balmy 65 degrees, but we do have 25, 30 mile an hour winds. But it's very, very nice. 65 degrees, y'all. I see Eric is trying to send me something, but it not letting me click on that for some reason. Why is that not letting me click those messages? Christina Walker, how you doing? David Biscuit, how you doing? Eric, what's going on? You sending me messages? Barbara Ryan and Julie Richardson, how you doing? Happy Mardi Gras, you guys. Huh? All right. Let me see. What I want to start the day off with. It's been a good day. Today is Fat Tuesday. I got my Fat Tuesday period on and my Fat Tuesday Big Sugar Beads. I want to know what is, if you've ever been, first of all, have you ever been to New Orleans? And tell me your favorite New Orleans story. All right. All right, y'all. Here we go. Let's check this out. My guest today will be the legendary Bernard Purdie. We're figuring some things out right now that we thought we had figured out, but we're working on it. We're working on it, baby. We're working on it. Good off today, so get to enjoy your show, go live. All right, right on. Nice to have a day off. Check this out. Deb Wozencraft. Hi, Deb. Love history of the swamp native. Ooh, they're coming in fast there. Gary Reed Johnson, what's going on, baby? Happy Mardi Gras. Don Cerrone. Good afternoon. Cherry Johnson, how you doing, beautiful?
Take it away, Mr. Jeff Wayne.
There was the ground, not just the fusion of music, the fusion of people. That's what Creole sisters and brothers are.
Yeah.
French, Black, Native American.
This song is called Tighten Up.
Bob Mosier in the house. I see Cecilia Purdy is back.
On the
And I'm going to...
Mr. David T. Walker on the guitar. Mr.
My guest
Sonny
today, y'all, the
on
legendary, the icon, Mr. Bernard Purdie. We'll get him on in a few minutes. Thank you, Eric Sassaman, if you can hear me. I love you, brother.
Mr. Pancho Morales on conga. Mr. Lou Donaldson.
That's Gordon in the house. What up, baby?
Alto. Mr. Virgil Jones on trumpet.
Bill Brackett in the house. How you doing,
My little
Bill?
brother,
Put up this
Bill
virtual tip there, y'all.
on tenor. Now we're just gonna groove.
Barbara Rod, how you doing, gorgeous?
All right, now. Tighten up, baby.
I was the one at Hotel Boca Leon.
Hey! Tighten up. Tighten up, baby.
Thank you, Eric. Hey, Eric, give me that email from Mr. Purdie. Let me put that up. Well, his not his email, his website. Funny, such a sweet, gorgeous woman. I love your soul. Your face is good too. Yeah, so I can put it up on the screen. Hey, Celia, you gorgeous little thing, you. I can hear you guys. You're backstage. Mr. Pert, right now you're backstage, so nobody can hear you but me. So I'll bring you up in a little bit. Oh, this is grooving, sir. He didn't know. I just make me sway back and forth, baby. I'm just like,
Mr. Lieutenant.
whoop, I'm dancing so hard I knocked over my hat. Damn sinus infection killing me. Hey, Jennifer Red Noble, that's my other red. I got 3 reds, baby. Hello from London. One more time, go check this out, y'all. There's his website. We're going to be talking to him today, Mr. Bernard Purdie, the legend, the icon, and the friend. Great man, good man. You guys look good in the drummer, baby. Christina Beer, how you doing, you gorgeous thing? Bob Fisher, good afternoon, sir. I need to steal that trumpet player, y'all. Tank, how you doing, brother? No, I'm sorry, Mr. Purdie. I'm talking to people on the screen. They're tuning in from all over the world. Now, Mr. Purdie, if you look to your right, you'll see all the different comments. So people come in from all over the world. Should be to the right of your screen. Happy Fat Tuesday, everybody. Les bons cette journée. Ça va? What up, my brother? Looking good. Miss you, man. How's the business? And David Moscato, we appreciate all the work you do, brother. Thank you.
Mr. Virgil Jones.
Hey, Coco. Texas in the house. London in the house. Canada in the house. Las Vegas in the house. Australia in the house. Norway in the house. Switzerland in the house. How's everybody doing? Canada in the house big time. Yes, sir. Wales is in the house. What's the weather like over there in Wales there? I like the young brother, the look of him go back down to B3. He was cool, baby. You can't get no cooler than that. Fresno, California in the house. How you doing, sir? Holland. I love Holland. Love being there, love playing there, love the people. 18 times. I never made it to the playoff field. Yes, y'all. That was the legendary Mr. Bernard Purdie. You know, you can't get any better than that. You just can't. You can't beat that with a stick. Question of the day. It is Fat Tuesday, y'all. What I want to know is, first of all, New Orleans is my favorite city in the world. Before Pam got sick, we were usually there 3 times a year, just for the food, the culture, the people, everything. We were really close to moving there before Katrina, before I had the avocado ranch. Matter of fact, when I joined on Kids Boys and things started going great, we decided to stay in California. But we were looking at houses down on Magazine Street at that time. So amazing how things work out. But it is my favorite city. I want to know, have you ever been to New Orleans? And give me your New Orleans story, if we can do it clean. or not clean. This is a grown folks show. We're gonna have Mr. Purdie on. He's backstage right now. Him and the beautiful Celia. But we're gonna meet Mr. Purdie on in a little bit. We're gonna play a couple more videos for you guys and just having some fun. I got the opportunity to meet Mr. Purdie. He doesn't realize this, but the first time he and I actually met face to face was in Poretta, Italy. And I was doing one of them crazy tours with an Italian band and my buddy Sax Gordon. And we were doing the Poretta Soul Festival. And I had just done 10 shows in 10 days in 10 cities in a car. And then the last show was the Poretta Soul Festival. They brought me up there horse and that. And I didn't know that my wife and my little sister, I call my little sister Beth, my wife's best friend for 30 years, they had flown in, they had been in Dubrovnik, Croatia for a couple of days, and then they drove over to the show. I walk out on stage, they sit in the front row, but I met Mr. Purdie backstage. I didn't want to bother him. I just, told him hello and how you doing. He don't remember that, but I was elated to meet a legend like that. He's saying he remember. I ain't gonna hold him to that, but I love him. He is the nicest person I've met, one of the nicest people I've ever met. I want to play. You know what? Let me bring this up here. Let me bring this up. This is probably a year ago, I think. We were in Norway at the Notodden Festival, and we were playing, and Mr. Purdie was side stage, and I had the gall, the nerve, the audacity to ask the gentleman to come up on stage and play with me. And he was so kind, he did. Check this out, y'all. 2018. There you go. That's the date. And I don't have the cover, y'all. I got a Chinese infection. Sorry. Oh, Cafe Du Monde, brother. Aaron Jordan, all the way from Mumbai, India. How you doing, Aaron Jordan? Miss you, man. Marty, how you doing, you gorgeous thing? I miss you, love. All the way from Oslo, Norway. Marty, who died trouble or Miss Trouble. I'm gonna shut up. You got some good music. Come and go home with me. I'm gonna sell my coat, gonna sell these shoes, sell these clothes that better than you. Sell my watch, gonna sell these rings. All you people gonna sell everything. I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to make a living. Oh, my bass player, Alan Markel, taking it in. Alan, you played the what up that night? Stay ball, Mr. Purdie. Stay ball, Mr. Purdie. Let's go. Oh, I love the blues, baby. Sell my watch, gonna sell these rings. You people
Dr. Bernard Purdie, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Purdie.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, he backstage. He checking up. I'm gonna just bring him up here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the show the legendary Mr. Bernard Purdie. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mr. Purdie, sir?
I'm doing wonderful right now. I just made me happy.
All right, right on. I love it. Thank you for taking time out your busy day to be on stage with a young black man like myself.
Yeah.
How you and Miss Celia doing? What's the weather like where you at? I think you at New York area, New Jersey, right? Where you at?
In New Jersey.
Yeah, what is the weather like?
Oh, the weather is actually good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the snow is gone.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to have snow tomorrow or a few other days, but it's supposed to go down. It's now 40 degrees.
All right. I was talking to my brother last night. We out in Texas, East Texas. We right down the Texas-Louisiana border. In East Texas, we down at a little town called Tyler, about 30 minutes or so, 30, 35, 40 minutes from Shreveport. It was -5. And we don't get like that in Texas. I mean, we get cold, but we don't. I don't think I can never remember a day in my life it ever been -5 and the wind is blowing. And we actually got snow. Now we usually get sleet and black ice, but we actually have snow in Texas. That's crazy.
Yeah, because we've been seeing what's going on in Texas. You had almost 100-car truck pileup.
Yeah, that was right down the road. That was down the road from my brother. He said it was on the way going toward Denton. He's like, yeah, and I know, bless their soul. I know a few people lost their lives in that pile up. So we're gonna pray and send prayers out for them. So bless their souls. So but anyway, we live, we looking good. Let me see. Let me get you to bring your screen a little bit to your right.
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, let's get you.
I'm sorry. I was so busy.
There we go. Yeah. So we was only getting half your face. I want to see that whole pretty face. So there we go. Yeah, Mr. Purdie, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Purdie, let me ask you a couple questions. Yeah, I got the same thing. I got this freaking sinus infection. First I said, do I have the COVID? So I got myself looked at and Pam checked me out. I don't have the COVID, but I got a freaking sinus infection. It's driving me crazy. Can't get rid of it. Let me ask you a question you probably been asking a million times, and then we're gonna get on without that crap. What started you in music and what made you gravitate toward the drums, if you don't mind, sir?
Oh, I don't mind.
I'm sorry. I keep looking up there. I'm looking up there on the big screen. I'm gonna look over here.
Okay. No, like you just asked, I started when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
Because the next block from where I lived in Elkton, Maryland, somebody was playing the drums in their house, and I had my brother to take me there.
Wow.
And we just sat on his porch while he was teaching. He wasn't just playing, he was teaching.
Okay.
And I told everybody then that I was going to be a drummer. It doesn't matter what, but that's what I'm going to do. Because
it touched your soul that much, huh? Right then and there.
Yes. Oh, yes. It took me for almost 7 years. He was teaching me.
Wow.
Every day.
Okay. Who you mind if we ask who it was?
Oh, Mr. Leonard Hayward.
Oh,
he was my teacher. Yes.
Well, that's a good teacher to have. Wow. It was kind of that way with me. My mother was probably the greatest singer that I ever knew. And I grew up, in the church, the black church, Church of God in Christ, Holiness Pentecostal. And, the organist was getting all the love. But for some reason, I wound up being like a national choir director and state choir director. But for some reason, it was the same way with me. It was the drums. I was about 5, 6 years old, and the drums just talked to me. Something about it, man. And, I would catch myself in church standing right next to the drums, and I don't know if you know that. I was a drummer first and have been a drummer for, my gosh, I don't play anymore because I always got great people like you or LaBelle Jones or all these great guys. But
listen, that's why your soul is so soulful. You got it.
Drummers rule the world, baby.
Yeah. Because when
You
you're
ain't
singing, when you're standing, you're dancing, you got it all. And
right on,
everybody's gonna follow you
right
because it's
on.
all there. It's
Is
all
that
there.
is that rhythm?
That's
That
it.
rhythm. Another great drummer talked to me day before yesterday. Told me to make sure I tell you hello. Mr. James Gatson told me to tell you how you doing.
You can tell him, the world can tell him, I'm doing great. I
Right
just
on.
had my COVID shot, my second one. We're
Oh,
fully COVID safe now.
congratulations! I know Pam has had hers. I can't seem to get one. I'm gonna have to go down there at gunpoint or something and make somebody give me a shot.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, I know that's right.
It was-
Now,
but,
I was told. I tried to look last night or night before last, and I gave up. I was told that you played on something like 4,000 different songs and albums.
over
That's what I was told. Over 4,000.
over 4,000 different albums.
Oh, good Lord
Not
Jesus Christ.
4,000 songs. Over 4,000 different albums.
Good Lord. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, the legend, the icon. Um, I know that you played with Aretha. I love what you did on Daydreaming and some other stuff. You mind just naming off of? I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but do you mind just naming off a few of the big names that we know, the albums that you played on?
Actually, three-quarters of hers. That's the easiest way. Yes,
Of Aretha, three-quarters of
yes,
Aretha's albums.
about three-quarters.
And I know you played with Ray Charles and some others, right?
Yes, yes, I did. And I got chastised by Ray Charles too.
Uh-oh. Come on. You can't be baiting the water. Come on, what happened?
Well, everybody knows that, you know, he was blind,
Mm-hmm.
but the sensitivity of that man was something else. Now, me and the bass player was always hanging out together. We're walking down the hall in the hotel, walking down the hall, and I won't even call his name because I feel bad.
All right.
We were
We keep it
walking,
PG.
yeah, and he grabbed me. He said, oh, get up against the wall. Yeah. We're on the other side of the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you kind of sneak into the somebody's door, or,
Mm-hmm.
like he walking down the hallway and he's like this. And he says, "Oh, what are you two doing out here?"
Wow.
Ah, ah, ah,
He
ah.
knew he knew y'all were there.
Yes. Now he's walking down the hall. He is actually walking down the hall. And I swear, everybody's, no. Listen, the man said what he said. Now, I'm never going to doubt that he can't see. Whatever it is, he heard us, he saw us, he felt us, he smelled us, whatever. But he called our names.
Wow.
He called our names, and we're standing still as far as we can in the doorway.
Trying to melt into the wall, yeah.
Somebody else is, yeah. I said, no, y'all can say what you want, but that man saw. He can see something.
Well, they say when you lose one sense, that all the other senses you have get really, really, really heightened. That's what I've heard.
Well, dude, that's not a lie. That's definite because I had the same problem with Stevie Wonder. Same problem.
Oh, you was with Stevie also.
Oh yeah. Now he would be playing at the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
We do our thing, finish and such, blase, Then I go to my night gig, which was a club,
Mm-hmm.
a real club, but it was a show club,
Yeah.
dancing. I would be playing, and get a feel like, oh, And I turned around, Stevie, what? Get from behind me. He said, no, Purdie, I just want to see what you're doing. I just want to see what you're doing. He meant
I
that.
want to see what you're doing.
That's what he said. He wants to see what, because he also played drums.
Well, a lot of people don't know that he's a good drummer. I've told that to people. People look at me like they're crazy. I'm like, Stevie Wonder is a good drummer.
He's not only a good drummer, but I'm not going to go into trying to do all the instruments because somebody else did even more instruments than him.
Yeah, I heard that he plays a lot. I have a friend of mine named Ralph Carter that way. I said, I hate them people. I used to use this keyboard player, a good friend of mine, his name Leo Dumbecki. And for years he was in my band, and I used him as a B3 player. But his first instrument was the saxophone. He had been playing with Ike Turner for a long time and with Robbie Shankar. And so every once in a while we'd be doing shows, he'd be over there playing the B3. And I mean, he was an amazing, phenomenal B3 player. And then he'd jump up off the B3 and grab the saxophone and just blow people out the water. They just sit there with the jaw drop like, wait, wasn't he playing the B3? Then he reach over and grab the guitar and do some amazing stuff on it. I said, all I need is about 3-4 people like that. Then I got my whole band. I just let them take turns.
And that was the way it was, especially from the 50s, 60s, and in that time area, and including the 70s. Because I had it with King Curtis. King Curtis, nobody played the saxophone like King Curtis.
Right.
What he also did was play the guitar. And
I did not know that.
His teacher was Hendrix.
Was Hendrix? I didn't know King Curtis played guitar. I only know him as a saxophonist.
He kept him in the band for 2 years until he learned how to play the guitar and get his sound.
Wow. So you just dropped some history and knowledge on me there, because I only know Mr. Curtis is, I know that some of the cats I knew on the West Coast knew him, but everyone always only talked about him as a saxophone player, but he was a good guitarist, huh?
No, his guitar playing, he first got it not from Hendrix, but from Billy Butler.
Wow. Okay.
Honky Tonk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he brought Hendrix in the band so he could learn funk.
Right.
Jazz. Folks didn't know he actually played jazz. They didn't know Hendrix can play jazz, but Hendrix wanted to do something else altogether, and that's what he did. And he left Curtis's band. When he left his band, he told Curtis, "Now I'm ready. I'm ready to go do this thing." So he did.
I had a long story. I had a long conversation one time years ago. A friend of mine used to be a master builder at Fender, and he built Ernie Isley's guitar. And me and Ernie hung out one night, and he may not remember this. Me, Ernie, my old drummer Dwayne Hathorn, and the guy that built the guitar, Art Gasparza. He also built Bunny Raitt's guitar and a few other. Art Gasparza. He used to be a master builder at Fender. So I hung out with Ernie. And Ernie told me the story about when they met Hendrix. So, they said, the older brothers, they were in New York to do a show, and they had to fire the guitar player or something happened. I ain't going to go into the details. And they had to get rid of the guitar player. They needed a guitar player. I don't know if they was playing the Apollo or what it was. But anyway, somebody told them about this young kid up in, was it the Bronx or wherever the beatnik area? I mean, I don't know New York that well. So they went up, they found this kid. And I want to say that at this time, Hendrix must have been 17, 18. And they said, well, can you play guitar? Let's see, we got a show tonight, but he didn't have his guitar because he had pawned it. And then he said, man, he might have been exaggerating, but this is what he told me. He said, so then they went and got unpawned his guitar, but he didn't have no strings. So then they went and bought him some strings, and he played, and then they used him that night on the show. And then he moved back home with them. I think they're from, is it Ohio? The Isley brothers, but I guess Hendrix lived with them for 2 or 3 years. And I always tell people, when you listen to Ernie Isley, then Ernie will say that Hendrix got it from him. But their guitar playing style is almost identical. But I heard that was a great story. Also, my buddy, I don't know if you know Gary Malaber. He's a great drummer. And he used to be with Steve Miller and some of those other. But he was telling me that Hendrix used to come in and sit in with them. They played some club. I don't know if it was I maybe said CBGB,
CBG.
CBGB, and so they had a standing night there. And Hendrix would come in and sit in and play with them, but he would never play guitar. He played bass. So
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 times, he would never play guitar. He played bass.
He did that because he was teaching himself how to use those chords on the bass as
Okay.
well. That's
Okay.
what he did. But it was the things that you just talked about. I knew every one of them.
Oh, okay. Of course,
And
of
it's
course you
all
did.
true. It's all true.
Okay.
But the beauty of it is that the man he was level-headed, he was humble, wasn't thinking about anything, happy as a lark to play. Happy to play. Now
Yeah.
he had some good managers, especially in the beginning. He had some great managers, and then he ended up building a recording studio on 8th Street in New York City.
Hmm.
It was the best. It was the best money could buy.
Okay.
And he had everything in there, and he only played at night. When he
Okay.
played, yeah, he didn't play during the day
All right.
at all. He'd do any little business and stuff that he had to do, and stuff, but he only played at night. He only recorded at night.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his studio, but he, you know, rented out to other people. His studio became the number one studio in New York City for a good 10 years.
Now, now was that the they call is it Electric Lady Land? Was that
Yep,
Electric Lady? Oh,
Electric Lady.
Electric Lady Land. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't get it wrong because when I talk to cats like you and some of the others I've been blessed. I'm always listening because I grew up in the old school and it means a lot. And I want to preserve this history because I don't mean no disrespect to you. You are a living icon, living legend, and but beyond
I'm
that.
in my 30s.
Yeah. Beyond all that, from the first time I met you, and I've known you now for years, you have been one of the kindest souls that I ever met. And your wife Celia, I just love her to pieces. I love y'all. You're a very humble man. And
Well,
if anyone has the right to put on airs, you do. And it's even
uh,
bigger that you don't ever do that. Every time I met you, you have been the most humble. And people sit around. There was a couple times we were sitting around. My bass player, you brought my bass player to tears when he got to meet you. But there was a couple times we sit around, and I'm looking at people, and I'm like, do you have any idea who this gentleman is? So as a younger generation, it's my job to educate these people because a lot of musicians today are just not educated. They think that what they're doing is something new, and they don't realize that what they're doing someone did in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and all you're doing is rehashing the same, excuse my language, shit that someone else created, and they should get the props up to where the props should be. So that's just the way I feel about it. That's just my take on it. But listen, before we go any further, I want to play one more song with
okay.
you on it. I found this. My dog's out there fighting. Sound like, hey, you guys cut that out. Cut it out. Behave. It looks like you probably are in your 20s or 30s on this one. So I'm gonna pull myself off the screen to put the video up. You stay there, sir.
Uh, oh, Miss Frankie.
How many children?
Is that kid?
You know that's Kitty.
I ain't gonna play the whole thing. I'm gonna skip ahead a little.
You talking Alex
Okay.
I ate 4.
I used to feel so uninspired, and when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. to my peace of mind. Because you make me feel like a natural woman. Yeah, yeah. When my soul was laying in the lost and found, somebody came on the train there. I didn't know. God shut down me till his kiss helped me name. Oh yeah, now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for. Because if I make you happy, do I really need to do more?
Yeah.
Feel like a natural What you done to me, he made me feel.
I love the groove you playing on that, Mr. Purdie. You love that groove.
Thank you.
Do you know that I just wanna feel?
Hey. Oh, hey.
A natural
Yeah.
Wow, Mr. Purdie. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many clips. There's no way I could play everything. I just went through and just grabbed some stuff that touched my soul. And yeah, let me ask
I'm
you.
glad to hear.
I know you.
I'm glad to
I
hear.
know you did. I think you did 10, 12 albums with Aretha, Miss Franklin. What was, if you don't mind, what was she like to work with? And did she always use a big orchestra in the studio, or was it sometimes more of a stripped down ensemble?
Strip down and build on top
Okay.
of it. Very seldom did we ever use the whole band.
Okay.
But there were occasions of live that the whole band played, and there'll be a few little secrets that's going to be coming out. I've been asked finally to do my second book.
Right on. That's right. You do have a book out. What's the name of the first book?
King of the Beat.
All right. I want to make sure, Eric Tasserman, you mind see if you can look that up for me so we can post that? Look that up for me. I want to post that up there. Man, Ray Charles, Aretha, Stevie Wonder. I'm trying to think. There's so many you play with. I'm trying to think some more of that. Like I said, my drummer always loves what you did on Daydreaming. I don't know why, but the groove that you played on Daydreaming, I know a lot of young drummers try to play and try to emulate it. I don't have that one on me, but
It's okay. If you give me 2 minutes, I'll explain it to him.
yes, sir.
Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
The reason for that particular song is that I was straight from Jamaica. I had been doing Jamaica, and Bob Marley's album, did a couple albums for him. But the people over there were teaching me how to play all the parts that the drummers were playing,
Hmm.
because it was only one drummer and a percussionist that was ever in my band. So I had to learn the feel and the flow of it. So everything is separate. The hi-hat is separate, the bass drum is separate, the sticks are separate, the whole flow of everything is on two.
It's on two,
Yes, sir.
like a reggae feel.
And reggae feel, but without it being strict,
Right,
strict,
right.
strict. But it has to lay. It lays. So they actually taught me how to do that by myself. The people
Wow.
in Jamaica, all the percussion people. I was doing a couple of records, and of course they found out I was doing Bob Marley and such and such. But the beauty of it is how they showed me my little shortcuts, how I make everything work. But the part for me is having the bass. When you have the bass has to play a certain way for this to lay. That's all. Really, really simple. Now the bass is on one,
Hmm.
but he also has to know the upbeat, and
Okay.
he's got to flow with it. So I was actually teaching Chuck Rainey how to allow it to flow together, just for it to flow together. And here it was, first time for her to go reggae,
Wow.
basically.
Yeah, because that groove is that groove that you guys are laying down is just like I said.
It,
I've known a million drummers, including myself. You know, I attempted it, but see, I didn't have that insight, so I gave up. I was just like, okay, I'm not getting this. I can play the time, but I'm not getting this groove. I'm just I tried to dissect it and did everything I could. Now that makes sense. Now, yeah, I don't have the skills anymore to do that. Back then, if I'd have known that, I might could have got close. So
it really isn't hard. And the
but
pro,
for you, it ain't hard.
well, a lot of things that happen is because I read music, so I also happen to write it.
Right.
So I had to do just that when they were showing me all the percussion work that was happening all at the same time, all at
Okay.
the same time. So I said, but I gotta have somebody else. And he said, no, you don't. No, you don't. Take steps. Take your baby steps first. And it was easy for me when it came down to worrying about. I didn't have to worry about the double hands with with the hi hat. I did it with one hand, and I kept my left hand almost. It was almost another beat that was happening. So instead, I just cut it in half. That's all. And slow down. The laid back part is what makes reggae.
Yeah.
And it is up to tap, tap, tap. You got the tambourine, you got this, you got all these different things. They all got to come together, and they
But
all have to.
but that goes back to pocket. See, a lot of cats can play, and I know, I try to tell cats all the time. I mean, young people get enamored is what I will use with 1,000 chops, and I try to tell cats like you can have 200 million chops. It's all for me when I pick a drummer. It is all about pocket. And sometimes I tell my drummer, and Lavelle is good with that. Sometimes I tell Lavelle, I want you on the front of the pocket. Sometimes I want him to sit in the middle. And sometimes I look at him and tell him, I want you to come in next week. Just as the door is about to close, you can barely get a hair in it. That's when I want you to hit it. But you,
All
but,
right.
but you're still in the pocket. And
Yeah.
I can talk that to Lavelle. I can say that to you because you understand. A lot of these drummers are not really, they're taught around pocket or at pocket, but they do not really understand pocket.
Okay. Next time that you want to explain something to them, keep it simple and use these terms. On top of the beat, right on the beat, or right behind the beat. And if you keep that and think of it, it's a bridge. It's all it is.
Yeah.
Because all music has its own way of showing. When you're on top of it, it's usually Latin. People think that, oh, they're playing Latin. If you're right on, then you're the rock and roll or your R&B flavor. But if you're behind the beat, it's soulful. If you can hold it, and that's all. That's all it comes down to. But you got to remember, whatever feel and whatever groove that you want to go to, it's understanding where everybody is and where they are lying. They're laying themselves. And makes it so much easier when you have that and keep that thought, because now you can't run away with the tempo. You got to think in terms of, mm, mm, mm. Chop, chop, chop. Your backbeat is whatever it's going to be. But if you usually learn how to cut it in half, you're going to end up with something simple.
Yeah.
Something simple. Because then the other folks have a chance to play something with you.
Hallelujah. Can you say that one more time? Say that one more time, please. Say it one more time.
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's it.
That's
Kiss.
the
That's
word.
it. That's it. We call it
But
kiss.
it's not being offensive to anybody, but it's telling them to keep it simple.
And
And
you, and
when
you know, I work on that a lot of time because I'm usually traveling with a 7-piece band. So I got two horns, I got a sax and a trumpet, I got bass, keyboards, guitar, and drums. And it's like sometimes my drummer can be busy. He's a bad mother, but that means that I can have a bass player that's gonna be busy also. So one of you guys have got to hold the root here. It's like, but that's what a lot of people don't realize, that it doesn't matter how good a guitar player is, doesn't matter how good a singer is, doesn't matter how good a keyboard player is. If your rhythm section are not talking to each other, and if your rhythm, I say tight as a gnat's ass over a 55-gallon drum. If your
ow, stop,
if
yo.
if your rhythm section is not tight, your band sucks.
Yes,
Period.
yes, it
Period.
does. and
Period.
and for a drummer, it's the bass player that he needs. He has to feed off the bass
Yeah.
because it's not the drummer's job to be the soloist. He's
Right.
the timekeeper. That's his job.
Yeah.
When it's time for you to have a solo, everybody's glad to give you one because they know that you're doing everything right for them. Thank you. Now you got it. And when they feel that energy is being lost on something, they will join you to help you, motivate you, so your solo can have that high, and that high, you don't have to worry about coming down so low and bring all the way down your back to where you need to be.
Yes, sir. I didn't want to bring you on to give a lesson, but I think that a lot of musicians got. I think a lot of musicians got some good knowledge there, and I hope that they take this and listen. You know, normally you people out there listening to that, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. He gave me
Oh yeah.
I ain't asking to get them more free knowledge. You better take it more. Well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I did not know that you had played with Bob Marley. I didn't know you had done albums with him. I had no idea. I can get it, sir. You play music of all genres, and that is something that I think that really strikes me. You know, and I've been stretching a lot now with soul and jazz on my new albums. And the reason why Utopia is I didn't want to be in the box, and I think that you learn by doing other stuff. And I think it'll help you go back to do things that you normally do even better. But that's my thinking. So
Okay. You were breaking up a little, but I got the gist of all of it.
was I bringing up?
And I'm just, for me, yeah, you were breaking up a little. But just so you know, the understanding of everything that you do, music is music. It's the lifeblood. It's a feel, it's an attitude. Keep your attitude positive, and you can do anything at any time. But reading is simple, it's interpreted. That's all. It is not a problem, it's not to fight you. Interpret it. And when you're with somebody who's got a different interpretation of something, go with them. Don't fight the feel. You don't have to fight the feeling. And believe me, I'm just trying to tell you, have a positive attitude about what you are doing,
Right on.
and you'll never go wrong.
Right on.
You never.
And that's one thing I must say when I play with you. I mean, I'm the same way. I doesn't matter if I'm sick or if I'm tired. You know, when I walk on that stage, I am just happy to be there, and I'm happy that people will listen. And it comes out whether I try to or not. It comes out, and you are the same way. And I think that it's infectious. I think that you know, my biggest thing is I like people to dance. You know, I've stopped shows and tell people like, listen, I don't do concerts. This is not a concert. This is a party. I came here to have a good time. Y'all sitting there looking like you waiting for me to explode. Get up and shake what your mama gave you. You know, this is because I love that. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. I can't tell you how many times, Mr. Purdie, I've gone into places and people are like, well, people here don't dance. And we get about 3 songs in and people are up shaking that. I'm like, yeah, they dance. It's just that it's the atmosphere that you've created and make people feel like they're embarrassed or it's wrong to dance. I've never understood that.
That was my teacher, Mr. Hayward. And my biggest problem that I had with him, I was so mad. I stayed mad at this man for years. Is because he told me that I was going to be a teacher. I said, I'll never be a teacher. I'll never be a teacher. We say the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. You can't do that. Back then, they're not listening. And he said, yeah, you're right. He never went above a whisper on him, no matter what he said. I would be so mad, and then I had to lose all that. I had to lose it because he wasn't getting excited.
No.
And I'm the so I had to learn the big lesson. That's all. So yeah, I do love to teach. And I made a couple of mistakes, only a couple in the last several years. So I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. And I'm just happy to be able to say that I'm still having fun. I'm
I can
still
see it,
having fun being able to play.
and I can see that. Because every time I've seen you, you got a big smile on your face, and you can tell
Thank
in the
you.
way you're playing. There's joy in your playing, and I sit there and I'm always like, man, I hope and I pray because you know how this business is. It can get you down, but I'm always sitting there like I hope and I
Hmm.
pray that I can keep the joy that I have. And it's weird because now that I've gone a little up, now you got managers and agents and all this stuff. It's it's actually, I mean, you have to do the business side backstage and whatnot, but it's actually gotten better for me because I used to have all that on me, and then I had to try to go on stage and give my heart and soul, you know, and uh, which is hard to do. As you know, it's hard to do. When I'm looking over at this promoter, and all I really want to do is walk on stage and choke this guy.
Oh,
And, now I don't have to deal with that. I can just give my joy.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I have a new promoter myself, my new manager. And I don't think about money, problems, or anything else. I don't even worry. I do my job. And I'm
Oh,
happy to do
also, I
my
want to
job.
make sure everybody knows.
Happy.
Everybody knows.
Because
Uh, with all his accolades and all the things that Mr. Purdy has done, want you to know that he is nominated for the very first time for a Blues Music Award in Instrumentalist Drummer. You guys go and vote for I mean, I know there's a bunch of people on there that we love and we like, but this is an icon, ladies and gentlemen. Your parents, your mother, your father grew up playing and dancing and making love to this man's music. You must vote for Mr. Bernard Purdie for the Blues Music Awards for instrumentalist drummer. Bernard Purdie. Vote, people. Vote, vote, vote. I want to see this man get a BMA. It's great that you've come into the blues world, and even though you've always been in the blues world, you've been in every world. But congratulations on. I mean, I don't know what it means to you with all the accolades you've had, but congratulations on your first BMA, sir. Nomination.
I hope, yes, I'm just like everybody else. I hope I win. But you know what? Being nominated means being a
It
winner,
does.
as far as I'm
You
concerned.
know,
You are a
that
winner.
that was
Oh,
Celia popping in there, y'all.
yeah.
Miss Celia Purdy. Hey, Celia, how you doing, beautiful? Yes,
I'm
he
a
is.
winner.
We can hear
Same
you. We
here.
can hear you.
Oh, he can hear you.
Oh, I almost shouted the
Hey,
winner.
beautiful. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so fine. We had our wedding anniversary
Oh, happy
on
anniversary,
Valentine's
y'all.
Day.
Happy
3
anniversary.
years. See, in all these
I saw
gray
you
hairs
looking at
on
that
his
rock
head,
on your too.
they say, oh,
All I know is I love you guys. Now I didn't get a chance to
All
thank
right.
yeah.
you. I haven't played that often in New York. And right before the COVID happened, I had started making my forays into the New York area. Why I played 3 or 4 little shows and then Pace Studios and I can't think of the other live magazine. But you and Miss Purdy, y'all drove down. I think through all that weather, whatnot. I think it was an hour and a half or 2 hours. You guys drove. I was playing over at the Brooklyn Bowl, and you guys came in there to see me. And I only had about 20 people
Yeah.
in that room that probably holds about 600. But I wanted to tell you, I don't know if I told you that night, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for coming down. It meant a lot to look out there and see you guys there. And you stayed the whole night. You didn't just come in and wave and leave. I mean, y'all stayed the whole night. So bless your soul. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
We,
Well,
we enjoyed it.
I was honored.
We enjoyed it
Believe me, and I have been, and I've
very
told
much.
people that. I was like, Mr. Purdy came in, like, Bernard Purdy. I'm like, yes, sir, Mr. Purdy. Him see us. They came to see a brother. I said, no matter what happens, they've invited me back because they were telling me that wasn't a typical night there. And I said, well, we played as if there was 800 people in there. I'm always be the same anyway. So, but I appreciate y'all taking the drive down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice venue.
It's a
Nice
really
venue.
a nice club.
I didn't realize they had clubs
It's a
that
nice
size
club.
in New York. I thought everything was compact.
All the time, for most of the clubs that are in New York, the price is up here.
Yeah.
But the point is that you got something big enough, you can keep the price down, keep everybody happy, and make a lot
Yeah.
of money. They make a lot of money every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Every day having these
You know, it
people
used to be
do
that way in
and,
it used to
and
be that way
it's
in
a
LA, but we've lost that in LA. But San Francisco still has that. San Francisco still has
I
that, and
know.
I think it's because it's so compact. And even though there's only like 1 million people in San Francisco, there are so many venues in San Francisco. It keeps the prices down. I mean, they're in large and small, and there must at any given time on the weekend there must be 100 bands playing per night, 110 different bands playing per night in San Francisco. And I figured that New York must be the same way. There's only a few places. New Orleans is that way. There's only a few places that are that way anymore. So,
Yeah, I
in the
agree.
States. I mean, you still have it
I
in Europe.
agree.
Like when I'm in Germany, parts of Paris and France, they still have that. Yeah.
Yes, they
And
do. And it's full. I'm thank
yes, sir.
I'm thankful like
Yes,
you
sir.
are.
Always
They are
full. I
always
mean, they are
full.
full.
They
Young,
come,
young and old.
yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right. What was I
All
gonna do? I
right.
wanted to play this one. Don't go anywhere, Mr. Purdy. I'm gonna put you backstage for just a second, and then I'll come right back to you. I want to play this song. This is one from a childhood that I want to play for everybody. Hey, y'all! My guest today is the legendary icon, Mr. Bernard Purdie. Over 4,000 albums this gentleman's played on. I'm not even gonna begin trying to make a call everything, but I just found out I did not know that he had played with Bob Marley. That just kind of tilted my wig to the left, which I should have known that anyway. He's playing with everybody. But you guys, hold on. I'm gonna bring him back for just a few minutes. We're gonna keep him all day. But I want to play you a song from my childhood. When I started doing mass choirs, which was our thing, I used to be the choir director for IYC, which stood for Interdenominational Youth Choir, the Henderson Mass Choir, and the Bethel Temple Church of God in Christ Mass Choir. I also was blessed many years ago to work with the legendary Dr. Mattie Moss Clark in the Love Alive Choir for the Church of God in Christ, where I used to go to Memphis every year for the national convocation. But this choir, this is the Mississippi Mass Choir. And unfortunately, churches, I don't see them doing this anymore, and maybe a few of them do. But mass choirs, it used to be down south that you didn't have a church if you didn't have a really good preacher, a really good band, and the choir had to be better than all of them. That's the only way you got people into the church. It's the change from that now. But check this out. This part, I'm gonna put you backstage for 1 second, and I'm gonna bring this up. And I'm not gonna play all this, y'all, but check it out. This is what I grew up with.
There was a family on their way down south, and they had gone as far as they could go, and they made their way, and they were driving on a dirt road. Storm came, the lightning started flashing. The young man that was driving the car lost control of the automobile, ran off the road, and everybody was all right except him. They got out of the car, and just across the dirt road was a white house. They took him across there to that white house and knocked on the door, and the white lady came to the door and said, "Can I help you?" They said, "Ma'am, if you just let us, our brother just got in an accident. We want to just come in and make a telephone call. We want to call the doctor." They walked in, and daughter got on the phone, and the phone kept ringing, and there was no answer. Finally, somebody picked up the phone and said, "I'm sorry, but the doctor's not here. He's out on his rounds." Somebody say yes here. Well, the daughter put that phone down and went back into the living room, and the little children, they were sitting there crying. They were all sitting there crying. And by that time, grandmama had got out of the car.
Wait for it, y'all. Wait for it.
She made her way across that dirt road, and she walked up to it and just opened up the screen door, and she peeped in and she said, "How's my son doing?" And they told her, said, "Mama, we tried to call the doctor, but he was out on his rounds." She said, "Child, let me come in." She walked in and she looked at that white lady. She said, "Ma'am, do you have a closet?" She said, "Ma'am, do you have a closet?" The white lady looked at her and said, "If you want to use the phone, you can use the phone." She said, "No, ma'am, I don't want to use the phone, but I want to call my doctor, and I need to go to your closet." Wait a minute. She made her way to that closet, and there was just enough room for her to get in there. She walked in that closet. The children were walking behind her. She walked in that closet, and she closed the door, and before she talked to the Lord, she said this.
This is what I grew up with, y'all. Every Sunday. If you was 98 when she did this one, the pastor's going on now. Go ahead, mother, sing. Every time I do a show, I want to recreate this feeling right here. Still giving chills, and this has been 40 some odd years. Lord have mercy.
I want to see.
Woo, Lord. I had to give y'all a little bit of that. I had to give y'all a little bit of that. That was just for my soul. Hey, y'all. We want to say happy Fat Tuesday to you all. God bless you. Mr. Bernard Purdie has been my guest today, and his beautiful wife Celia. They're celebrating their anniversary on Valentine's Day, the 3rd anniversary. Happy
3 years.
Eric Sassaman, thank you very much. Give a shout out to Miss Bunny Burkett, Magician Media, to my man Tristan. We want you guys to pray for my manager, Stephanie Gonzalez. She's going through some medical things. She's going to be all right, but you need your prayers and the positive thoughts. Send it to her. Mr. Purdie, before we go, again, from the bottom of my heart, sir, I hope you had fun. I didn't mean to keep you so long, but God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I love you.
We love you.
Thank you very much. Y'all, it's Fat Tuesday. God bless you. As I always say before I go, please, please, please be good to one another. God bless you. I'm out of here. Mr. Purdie, we'll see you next time, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. You can stay there. You can stay there, Mr. Purdie. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.